Hello, good afternoon, and welcome once again to our Contemporary Project Management webinar. Sajid Kefa School of Business offers you a warm welcome to this evening session. Allow me to introduce you to our presenter. He is Eliud L.G. Ramakan. Eliud holds a bachelor's in computer science and economics with honors from and an MBA in general management from the University of the West Indies, Moni campus. He's a certified project management professional since 2011, an authorized training instructor for the Project Management Institute, a PMI Agile certified practitioner, and an adjunct lecturer in project management at the University of the West Indies. He has earned 2 executive education certificates from Harvard University at the John F. Kennedy School of Government in Strategic Management for Regulatory and Enforcement Agencies, as well as cybersecurity policy. And he has completed a postgraduate diploma in Compliance, Risk, and Information Governance through the Jamaican Stock Exchange eCampus. Eliud Ramakan is indeed well equipped to join us this afternoon. He is also the facilitator for our upcoming Contemporary Project Management course. So join me in welcoming Mr. Eliud Ramakan to the floor.
Thank you so much for such a pleasant introduction and pleasant afternoon, almost evening to you all joining from near and far. You have come to this webinar with great expectations, knowing that life has to be different from now on. Work has to be different from now on. And it all starts with open up a new book, open up a new chapter. And this chapter is your project management chapter, one that will allow you to be future-proof. How do you future-proof your career? How do you move forward from here to launch into unprecedented excellence and productivity? Well, today we'll be introducing an upcoming course, which will be starting in February of next year, called the Contemporary Project Management course. It's a short course, 6 weeks. We'll be getting into the details soon. But I want to whet your appetite. I want you to think about just one question. What does it take to future-proof your project management career? Now, what we'll be looking at first is we'll be looking at what project management is, and then we'll be delving into the 5 Ps of a future-proof project manager. And then from there, we'll show you how our upcoming course, Contemporary Project Management, will be able to help you, enable you, and to boost your opportunities, both in your current career and in a new career or an applied career with project management by your side. So, what is a project? It's good we start with that question, because a project is defined as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. So it's something that doesn't last forever. It has a beginning, it has an end, and it's set to create something unique, a unique product, something tangible, service, something intangible, or result, some target that you're going after. And before we get into all things projects, the first thing I want you to think about is your life. Your life is a project that we may not like to think about it many times. Our life is temporary. And even more important, our life is unique. So therefore, we are a project. And this course, Contemporary Project Management, seeks to put you at the center of learning, for you to transform your life, to increase the possibilities for financial freedom, for greater success, to follow your passion projects and your dreams through the vehicle of project management. Now, projects drive change. And boy, we know about it, that this world is full of change. You've heard it quite often. Change is constant. And it is important to understand that change doesn't have to be chaotic. Change can be one that is intentional, one that is inclusive, and one that you're able to see a clear future state by first understanding your current state, where you're at, and where you want to go. What's in between that current state and that future state, as shown by the diagram? It's a project. We sometimes hear that it's going to take a miracle. Well, it's really going to take a project that is aimed to move your life forward, a project that is aimed to move your business forward, your organization forward from one state to a better state, achieved through a specific objective and a series of activities that are well managed through the tools and practices of project management. So since we know what a project is, what is project management? Well, project management is an application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to meet project requirements. So let's break that down a little bit. So notice project management isn't just about knowing a lot, filling yourself up with knowledge. That's great, but it is an application of knowledge. Knowledge is not power. It is knowledge applied that is power. So the power of project management comes from applying the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques that you'll be learning in this course. Knowledge, you'll learn about 10 knowledge areas that cut across a variety of disciplines that will help you to become a versatilist. In other words, you're versatile in many different skill sets that will help you to connect to different disciplines, different subject matter experts, different problem focus areas that need a variety of skill sets, some of which you will have some competency on, and for you to draw on the competencies, insights, experience of others to move forward as one towards a common goal. Now, management is focusing on that M word, management of project management, can be summed up in two words. I call it the two F's of management. Now, think about some important F words, some important F's that underscore what management is about, that are very important ingredients for you to better manage your project, manage life, manage whatever you're given to manage. Well, can you think about what those two F's are? Well, you may be thinking about, if I can read your mind, focus, finance, fairness, funds. Oh, I'm seeing some people jumping in. Great. I'm happy I can see your suggestions. Enyanja, I say finance. Ebony, I see that say flexibility. Are there any other F's of management that are important to manage projects well that you can think of? All right, please type it in the chat. Just type it in the chat so everyone can see your responses all at once. I see Shalene, you say foundation. Another person says foundation. Shavilia says forecast. And there's so many F's, and all of these are important. But the two F's of management that I want you to remember, and it will dynamically, drastically change the way that you see life and see projects, are these two F's. The two F's of management are efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency and effectiveness. Those are the two F's of management that underscore the importance of project management and what you will be able to do better at in terms of bringing great efficiency to your business, greater effectiveness in your leadership and management of projects. All right, okay. So what we're saying here is that project management is here to deliver value more efficiently and effectively in your organization. It is the most crucial competency that organizations seek now. Now, let's think about what's the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. We're saying both are important. You can't just fly with just one wing. You have to fly with both, efficiency and effectiveness. I'm reminded of this African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go together, if you want to go far, go together. What does that mean when we talk about efficiency and effectiveness of managing projects? Yes, if you want to get a project done really fast, yeah, do it by yourself and do it your own way and get your own result in your own shortcut way. But that's not necessarily what will lead to satisfaction. That's not necessarily what will lead to you getting the right kind of approvals for you to deliver the benefits that people seek, to deliver the quality that people want. That will just be your own game according to your own standard, according to your own terms. That's not what a project is about. A project is about going far with the results, with the impact, with the benefits, the outcome, with satisfaction, and doing that together. So efficiency tends to be more on the short-term, medium side. How can you deliver things with speed? It's more time-focused. It's focused more on outputs, immediate outputs, and deliverables. But there's also a very important side to project management that this course will help you to see and improve on, which is the effectiveness of project management. Looking at the medium to long-term outcome and benefits. Even though a project is temporary, it doesn't mean that the benefits have to be short-lived. And the quality and attention that you put into your project and manage your project will be directly related to the quality and the impact that the results, the output, the deliverables of the project will have as the users, the stakeholders use what you have produced, what the project has produced, and is able to now make great impact in other people's lives. So we're talking about it being impact focused, focusing on satisfying the customer based on the requirements, looking at what quality means according to different definitions that stakeholders and standards that stakeholders have put on the table, and to foster stakeholder inclusion rather than shortcut initiatives. Now, project management comes out of the larger discipline of management, and the Sagicor Cave Hill School of Business and Management is all about delivering better results through better techniques in management. And project management has been a vehicle in which managers have been better able to improve their effectiveness of outcomes through interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary approaches. So what do we mean by that? So when you think about management, you think about, okay, financial management, managing your finances, operational management, manage your operations, IT management, managing technology. And they're all distinct types of management. And then there is general management, which, by the way, you can do an MBA here at the Cave Hill School of Business and Management and have a deep appreciation of the interlinkages between the different sub-disciplines of management, making you multidisciplinary in your approach to management. And that's great. That helps you now to go beyond just instructing on simple tasks to now creating solutions for complicated matters. That's great. But the world is moving at such a fast pace with increased complexity and uncertainty. Don't even mention the pandemic. And it has called on a new breed of managers, if you mean, that is able not just to talk between the disciplines of management, but to understand the blends between the different disciplines. And for you as a project manager to now play a very vital role of integrating the various skill sets, the various goals, objectives, the expert knowledge, the various branches of management that your team will be very adept in, to now be able to translate all of that into one common goal that everyone can move towards. That's what project management seeks to do. Project management, it's the skill sets of project management, provides leadership, motivation, it removes roadblocks, it inspires a team, and as a project manager, you are there to ensure that there's proper accountability across different disciplines, across the different contributions of your team and stakeholders. And project management has developed even further into another area that is out of the scope of this introductory course in project management that we're focusing on today in this webinar. But it also brings us to another branch of project management, which is called Agile Project Management, which we can speak more of if you have any questions in the question and answer session. So what we're saying is that project management has moved beyond just managing the main constraints of a project to now delivering and bringing about effectiveness through effective project leadership. So a lot of literature and research in project management has really shifted the importance of project management to how do you better manage change. And in managing change, it's not about just changing systems, it's also helping people to cope through the change so that they can use the new systems. Boy, we know of projects that produce fancy software and outlaying of new systems, and then it's barely used. People go back to what they're most comfortable with, abandoning what the project has delivered. So it's important as a project manager to be able to challenge the status quo. And while doing that, help the team and all those impacted and that can influence a project to focus on vision, alignment, to be motivated, inspired, to innovate, to develop, to collaborate in a way that gives exceptional results. So project management used to be in a very basic rudimentary triangle. I call this the primary colors of project management. You know your primary colors: yellow, blue, and yes, and red. Yes. And through those three primary colors, you can mix it and get all different sorts of colors from it. Well, in a similar way, the primary colors of project management have been what is normally termed as a triple constraint: time, scope, and cost. And you have to manage the resources, the quality, the risks, everything about the project within the constraint of the time allotted, the deadline, the scope, what needs to be done, and the cost, the resources, the funds that you have to get the work done. Those have been really the key constraints for an efficient technical project manager. But what this course will show you is that we have to break out of the triangle. They normally say, think outside the box. No, you have to think outside of this basic triangle to see how we can evolve as project managers. Because project managers are evolving. No longer are we just mere creatures of scope, schedule, and a budget alone, as the triple constraint shows. We are now here, enabled by new technology, to focus on influencing outcomes, building relationships, and achieving the strategic goals of their organization. So as a result, the project management profession, over its many years and decades of development as a discipline, has come up with a new triangle, still a triangle, right? But it's a triangle focusing on the transformational combination of competencies that effective project managers need today. And that's what the Contemporary Project Management course being offered in February is seeking to empower you with. To empower you with new ways of working, what we call the WOW, W-O-W, different ways of working, different ways of approaching projects depending on the context, the scale, the complexity, the skill sets of your team, and so forth. Empowering you with power skills. We mean leadership skills, negotiation skills, skills to influence, skills to, we normally call it soft skills, but soft skills sound too soft. Power skills to collaborate, to have an innovative mindset, to exercise empathy as well, are all power skills that are in your toolkit. And thirdly, business acumen. A project manager isn't simply someone who is in a cubicle in some corner of the office where work is thrusted on them to now manage this project. A project manager now has to have their ear on the ground and also their ear towards management, towards the board room, in order to better understand the business model in which change is being asked to be made, to understand the wide big picture, to understand the strategic environment. So as you are developing a new product service through the Be Cup project, as there are changes, you're able to make the necessary relevant adjustments to succeed. Boy, it's very painful after climbing up a very tall ladder and reaching the top, realizing that you're leaning on the wrong wall. So it's very important as a project manager to be aware of the shifts in the strategic environment, in the business environment, so you can make the commensurate shifts in your project to keep it relevant by the end of the project. What's the point of creating a fancy software that's going to take 3 years, that by the time that software or that website is now produced, is now out in the public, technology has passed that and has gone to something new. What you produce is now incompatible, is now a vegetable, unable to be used. So you have to be aware of what changes are occurring and not to be an ostrich with your head in the ground, not minding what is going on around you. A project manager looks at many ways of working, empowered by many different, what we call power skills, and being aware of the context of the business. And that's where the F's come in, right? Efficiency in your ways of working, effectiveness, effectively working through the business and what the business can do and what the potential the business has. And I'll just add another word here, your example in leadership, your example in setting the right tone for change. All of this is what makes up a competent, efficient, and effective project manager. There are 2 hands up. If there's a question, we'll take a question just now. Yes, I see Shireen Brooks, go ahead. All right, okay. Well, I mean, we'll be having a question and answer session. I'm not hearing you, Shireen, but please type it in the chat if you can. I'd love to take your question even in the midst of the presentation, because I know that it was something that was very much on spot with what we're talking about. All right, so what we're saying is that project management has now become a strategic competency, one that businesses want and need in order to be able to keep up with the pace of change. So the value of project management is seen in many ways. The PMI, which is a Project Management Institute, which is the standard bearer, the gold standard of project management and representing all project managers across the globe, they have come up with a new tagline over the past few years. It's called Powering the Project Economy. I think that term alone really signifies the value of projects. Now, when we think about a growing economy, you may think about things like, increased production. You may think about gross domestic product and increasing that. We're thinking about increased employment and all the things that are known to be good economic drivers. But have you ever thought about projects as an economic driver? As a matter of fact, a successful economy is denominated by the successful projects that drive that economy. If it's a project to build a new complex, a new business complex, or a project to innovate, to create a new patent, if it's a project to convert farmlands to increase its yield by 10, 20-fold, if it is now to upgrade an IT system, a new technology platform, a new e-commerce website, all those are projects that have financial value, financial benefits, and even greater benefits beyond finances. So the PMI over 50 years now has been committed to providing excellence in project management by providing reference guides, textbooks, webinars, and all sorts that help project managers to feel at home and to feel that they have a center of gravity as they move forward with inertia of project management. So I want to welcome you to the project economy as budding project managers. The value of the global economy is driven by successful projects. And as more and more industries become projectized, as they have, the demand for skilled project managers is expected to soar in the coming decades. Talk about coming decades, just look at the recent past. Well, not so recent as well. Economies generally have moved from being merely operational to being very much more projectized. As a matter of fact, how we have shifted from the agricultural age to the industrial age was through projects. Now, creating new machinery, retooling a factory, adding new products that require development. All that took projects. And we've shifted successfully through the ages from the industrial age in 1900s into the 2000s, the information age. And there have been more projects that have been geared towards, as a result of the internet, social media, and a variety of other important drivers in the economy that have spurred on new projects. We've now shifted from the information age where we have too much information. Now, the greatest asset is how do you tap into the attention of clients, of customers. And the projects and companies that have been able to crack that code or the algorithm have been among the most successful. That's why among the top companies that have grown in terms of market share, growth, and so forth, have been technology-driven companies. Think of the FAANG, that's the F-A-A-N-G, Facebook, called Meta now, of course, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. All of those companies have their claim to fame as a result of being able to tap into your attention, personalizing experience that you feel that the technologies are part of you. So much so that we've shifted now to a new age called the blended age, where it's hard to see the difference between your physical identity versus your digital identity. As a matter of fact, now more and more companies rely on your digital identity as a truer, realer evidence of who you are than just a photo of yourself nowadays. So we have spurred on new kinds of projects as a result of the shifts in the Industrial Revolution. As we have heard of, we are in the 4th generation of the Industrial Revolution, and we're moving on even into greater levels of innovation. And to drive the innovation, it is project management skills that are considered to be the must-have skill sets for any job in this decade. So what does that mean? That means it is time to step up. The research is out. In today's fast-paced, deadline-driven world, project managers are in high demand. The PMI, Project Management Institute, in its research called the Talent Gap, states that there will be 2.2 million new project management jobs available by 2027, averaging 80 million total jobs in the field. And to help manage this increasing need, 71% of global organizations now have a project management office, where they're centralizing project activities, ensuring that project management is ubiquitous throughout all departments, all areas of the organization to deliver extraordinary value. And almost 15% increase over the past 5 years. So this is the time to choose the project management certification that is right for you, to level up in your competence in project management. And the PMI provides a number of different certifications, as listed here: the Certified Associate in Project Management, the CAPM, which is the entry-level project management credential that is globally accepted everywhere, like Visa. The Project Management Professional credential, where it requires you to have at least 36 months, 3 years of project management experience under your belt, and then to do the training provided by the Cave Hill School of Business to attain. And there's another credential called the PMI ACP, Agile Certified Practitioner, which focuses on agile project management techniques. So what's your next step? Well, whether you are breaking into the field of project management or you're wanting to advance your career in project management, the Sagicor Cave Hill School of Business and Management is the place for you to grow and to shine. So coming in February, we have our next cohort in contemporary project management. And this is a 36-hour course spanning 6 weeks for you to learn everything about project management and to set you up for success to be globally recognized by being ready enough to pursue the external exam in the CAPM or the PMP exam. So we have a course in February. There are other courses coming up, but we really want you to take advantage of what is in store in February. So the course runs from February 13 to March 22. It's a Monday and Wednesday stream. It costs $650 US. That's a regular cost. And the target is for you to be able to do the CAPM certification. You don't have to do it, but it will prepare you not just to be trained in project management, but to even pursue the external exam that PMI, Project Management Institute, has prepared for you to be able to have your record at the global level. Our curriculum is designed and guided by the latest edition of the PMBOK. That's the Project Management Body of Knowledge, 7th edition. The newest practice guide called the Process Groups Practice Guide, and all the digital content of new thought leadership in project management as contained in the Google of Project Management, which is called PMI Standards Plus. And the content and the curriculum of the course matches back with the exam content outline of the Certified Associate in Project Management, preparing you to be internationally ready for the global stage. Now, if you take advantage of this webinar opportunity, we are offering an early bird discount so that you'll be saving $75 off the regular costs. So instead of paying $650, you'll be paying $575 US. And you have to get in early. You have an opportunity up to December 14 to be able to apply, to be able to register, and to be able to pay, and to be registered for our upcoming course in February. So this offer won't last long, and it is only for attendees of the webinar. And I see that we have over 200 attendees of the webinar. And there are also corporate and group rates available, but for you personally, you don't want this deal to pass you. So as you can see from the presentation, you can future-proof your career. And it starts by understanding the importance of project management. And it starts here at the Cave Hill School of Business and Management by doing the contemporary project management course. Now, before taking questions, I just want to give a rundown of the course since we now have everyone's attention captivated. So our learning engagement tools for the course, it will be delivered purely online, fully online, delivered through Zoom. We have our learning platform, Cave Hill Learning Platform, that will have all the materials that you will need to go through the course and to prepare for the Certified Associate in Project Management credential, if you so choose. And of course, we want to keep things as interactive and as close as possible between classes through our WhatsApp class group. So the course provides an introduction to the principles and practices of project management. And it is designed to give you the tools to initiate, plan, execute, monitor, control, and close projects successfully. And in doing this, you are also preparing yourself for the CAPM credential exam offered by the PMI. Now, there's another course that we provide, which is an advanced course for those who are interested in taking the Project Management Professional, the PMP credential exam. And we'll have a webinar separate for that at a later time. So the training course is consistent with the Project Management Body of Knowledge, 7th edition, and the Process Group Practice Guide, which just came out this year. The modules of the course include covering the principles in project management, tailoring, the process group model, fundamental concepts, and all the 10 knowledge areas: integration, stakeholder communication, scope, schedule, cost, quality, resource, risk, procurement. And we give you exam strategies at the end of the course to launch off into the globally recognized certification. So it's live classroom sessions online with loads of online resources to help you go through the material quite easily. And there are a few quizzes and assignments, usually group assignments, that will help you to be able to apply the knowledge, skills, the tools, and techniques, just as what was defined as project management. Evaluation of the course is through multiple choice questions, group assignments, and a final project to prepare a project management plan. And I've never seen anyone that has failed this course. The passing mark here, at minimum 50%, nobody ever gets anywhere close to that, because we ensure that everyone understands material, is very engaging, very relatable for you to launch into project management success. So it's 12 classes. Each class is 3 hours on a Monday and a Wednesday, taking you through the content, bringing you through the necessary assignments and quizzes to concretize what you've learned, and for you to be fully knowledgeable about the 7th edition of the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide, which helps you to understand the principles to deliver value. It gives you the tools and many ways of working to be able to approach projects in different ways, for you to focus on project outcomes beyond outputs, to be both efficient and effective, and to have enough context to be able to tailor projects to fit the context, to fit the problem area that you're seeking to solve. The PMBOK 7th edition is accompanied by a practice guide called Process Groups, a Practice Guide, which brings us through 49 processes within 5 process groups. And you'll be able to learn all of that and more in February. So thank you so much for listening. We now open for questions. I think there may be some questions in the chat that we want to answer.
Marsha
yes.
Brown has her mic open. She's going to be asking a question. Miss Marsha.
Great.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I have 2 questions. The first one is, being that I'm a registered UWI student, although not with KVille, do I have to pay extra money to do the course? That's one. And then my second question is, I'm currently taking the Google Project Management Professional Certification. So does this mean that I could just skip the introductory course and go straight to the advanced project management course?
Okay, all right. So I'll take the first, and I'll take the last question, and then I'll ask our 4 coordinators to weigh in on the first question. So I'm happy that you have expressed your interest in project management by even going ahead to take a course with Google. So that will definitely give you some good introductory base for you to advance to the second course, which is the Advanced Project Management course. Now, the Advanced Project Management course prepares you for the Project Management Professional exam. And there are a few minimum requirements of that exam I'd just like to outline for you to know if it's a best fit for you to do the advanced course just now. So if you have work experience, 3 years work experience in projects, that is one of the requirements for you to do the Advanced Project Management course, because coming out of that course, you need to have that minimum standard to do the PMP exam. Next is that even though it's called Advanced Project Management, we do provide a refresher for those who may not have done a project management course in a long while, or who have done a project management course, but it's not according to the PMI standards. Now, I've done the Google project management course, and it is different from the PMI standard, right? So just bear that in mind. But we have already contemplated where we'll have persons who have done maybe an introductory course that was different from the PMI standard. And we take you through an earlier part of the advanced course to make sure that you have the right framework working with to now excel in advanced course. So we'll be happy to have you for our advanced offering. More information will be available on that in particular. I just want to get an answer from you. Do you have at least 3 years experience in doing projects?
Yes.
All
Not
right.
exactly in the lead position, but 3 years experience in projects. I teach research methodology, and
Great.
so I would consider those be projects. I applied recently for my PMP.
Yes.
I haven't completed it, but they had a problem in the way I laid out my objectives and so forth.
Yes.
So that's PMI. So I was even looking for someone to help me lay it out. So I don't know if you could put your email address in the chat and I could email you, because that's been one of my challenges. I was looking at the PMI and I noticed they have other qualifications like the DSM, which I want to try for even before the PMP. I was thinking, because the DSM is the Agile Scrum Manager qualification, which needs no experience, and they provide, like you say, 6 classes for PMI, and then you just pay for the exam and just do it, and you get that, and then you can become a senior Agile Scrum Manager, DASSM, and then you talk about going up that way, which is going up similar to the PMP. But I also wanted to do the PMP. So I'm asking you please to just put your, thank you so much. All right, those are my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, all right. Next question.
There is a question in the chat about PDUs. What exactly is a PDU? How do you earn them?
All right, great. Okay, thanks. And thanks for calling the question, because it takes a little time to scroll down. All right, yeah, so PDU means Professional Development Unit. It's quantified in hours. So just like most professional certifications, when you get the certification, you're required to renew the certification over maybe 3-year, 4-year, or 5-year cycle. For most of the PMI certifications, the cycle is every 3 years, right? So renew. During those 3 years, you can't just be sitting down looking in space. You have to keep on the frontier of what's happening in project management, and to be involved in project management. And there are a number of different ways to be able to accumulate PDUs. For the PMP, you need to accumulate 60 PDUs. And that means 60 hours. That may include watching webinars, being a part of the Project Management Institute chapters that are running even online, to be involved in projects by doing projects, teaching, reading articles in project management, and so forth. The PMI, over the past year and a half, during the COVID period, it made it much easier for persons to attain PDUs, because of course, there weren't many face-to-face kinds of events. So the PMI owns projectmanagement.com. Projectmanagement.com, if you go to it, has loads of webinars, articles, and so forth. So once you become a credential holder, because projectmanagement.com is owned by PMI, as you watch a webinar, it automatically scores or adds the PDUs to your record without you having to manually report it. Same thing for when you read an article and so forth. So that's what PDUs are about, and that's the way you're able to accumulate PDUs. Okay, and next question.
Janet has her hand up.
Okay, please go ahead.
While Janet unmutes, can you describe a pathway into Agile project management? Do you think it's necessary to be certified in a project management software? From Asif Mohammed.
All right, okay. All right, so in terms of Agile project management, there are a number of credentials that the Project Management Institute provides, let me just see if I can just bring up the full suite of credentials. If I can bring up quickly for you. If not, right, I'll bring it up at some point before the end. Right, so there's a PMI ACP, and the PMI ACP is Agile Certified Practitioner credential. It is the first of a belt of Agile credentials. Now, Agile project management is geared towards technology-driven projects, right? Large speaking. It is more product-focused than project-focused. There's a great need for persons who are able to manage projects to deliver the high priority value, high priority requirements within a very short time. And that takes Agile techniques to be employed. So it is a great way to go. And that's why we do provide the Advanced Project Management course, which takes you through all the various Agile methods to prepare you not just for the PMP, but also prepares you for the PMI ACP. Okay. Just in terms of credential holdership, PMP is a flagship credential, which is accepted everywhere. It is the most known. It actually was among the top 5 global credentials or professional credentials in the world, based on Certification Magazine, which basically ranks the different professional certifications globally. The ACP is the fastest growing credential, followed by the CAPM. So that's why we have provided an avenue for you to attain those top 3 credentials. You're asking about project management software. So there are a number of different types of project management software that are available. In the course itself, we do provide information we provide information on a number of different types of project management softwares, from Microsoft Project to Project Libre to Asana to Monday.com to Wrike, to all the various types. So we give you exposure to the different types, just from an information point of view, right? Because it would take a different kind of session to really go through a full software. For the group assignments in this course, you're expected to know how to create a Gantt chart, and we at least walk you through the basics of how to create a Gantt chart using up to 3 different types of software, so you can decide which one to use for your project. Okay, seeing Samantha's question, do you offer PDUs through webinars and other activities for the PMP? And what do you recommend as a next step for someone who's already PMP certified? Okay, good question. So the great thing about PDUs, even though PMI requires PDUs, the PDUs don't have to be PMI branded. In other words, it's not just PMI content. If you read any book that has project management related information in it, you can record that, okay? Any webinar, okay? It's just that PMI has provided a wealth of resources through projectmanagement.com for you to be able to access, current stuff that PMI knows about. So even through this webinar, it's really built to be, an hour and a half at most. And we'll give you at minimum 1 PDU, right? To add to the PDUs that you need at Kilim as a PMP. And he asks, what do you recommend as a next step for someone who's already a PMP? Okay, I do recommend that you look at Agile certification. As a project manager, now it is important that you have 2 feet and 1 foot in the traditional way of doing projects, and also to learn the many other ways to approach projects that may be more relevant for a fast-paced environment. So doing the Advanced Project Management course would both help with PDUs. It's 36 hours, which is 36 PDUs, although, you'll learn that for your professional credential, you have caps on how much hours you can accumulate for any given category. right? So you can't be just watching webinars, 60 hours of webinars, and then you have 60 PDUs. There's a certain cap on each. But recommendation is to agile up, become aware and skilled in agile methods, and the advanced project management course takes you through the principles of project management. So there are 12 new principles of project management that have been established by the 7th edition. If you did a PMP before, you would not have known about those 12 principles because it's brand new. The course takes you through those 12 principles, advanced course. This course, Contemporary, introduces you to the principles. Advanced course takes you through the principles, shows you the matching processes to the principles, and then how to apply agile practices relevant to those principles. So I would say the advanced project management course is a best fit as even if you're a PMP.
After passing the CAPM exam, can you pursue the PMP exam?
The answer is absolutely yes. So when you look at the prerequisites for the PMP, once you have the CAPM, you don't have to do, PMI does not require you to do any further project management training, okay? So that 35 hours of project management training is already covered. However, the PMP targets the executive project manager segment. In other words, someone who has had at least 36 months experience in projects. By the way, 36 months is the requirement if you have an undergrad degree. If without an undergrad degree, it's 60 months of project management experience. So along with the CAPM, hopefully you would have developed some years of experience that can now carry you to the PMP stage. I'll just note regarding the CAPM credential, once you receive it, you are allowed to keep it for 5 years. During those 5 years, you're expected to develop enough work experience that you can now advance to the PMP.
We have another question.
Yes.
As an HRM student, how best can I use this course?
Okay, as an HR student. Okay, so HR has been modernizing over the past few decades, both in terms of HR data analytics, in terms of people engagement, in terms of organizational development to carry through changes when companies are restructuring and being able to take the people through that process. And it's really a project that you're going through, a transition project. So learning the different tools, techniques in project management helps you to approach it in a more systematic way and in a more holistic way that is not just process driven, but also people sensitive, and to ensure that your collaborative process or consultative process is one that will lead to not just an efficient outcome, but an effective impact. Natasha here, is there a question before I read Natasha's question? Okay, I'll note here, Anderson, he says the CAPM exam will change in January 2023. Yes, so the course is consistent with those changes. The main changes in the CAPM exam are knowledge of agile methods, business analysis approaches as the two main additions, okay? And less emphasis on the inputs, tools and techniques and outputs, or the inputs and outputs of the 49 processes.
Anderson?
Go ahead, Anderson.
While we wait on Anderson to have his mic his audio sorted. Natasha is asking, if I have an MBA with a specialty in PM, are we still expected to provide the 36 months of experience to qualify for the PMP?
Yes, because so the 36 months relate to work experience, not in terms of training. So what is required when you're applying for the PMP is for you to be able to record actual projects done over the past 80 years, no longer, it shouldn't go beyond 2014, for example, of projects that you have done and particularly coordinated, managed, led. Okay. I think your question may be in relation to the 35 hours, minimum hours of project management education. If you're doing an MBA where you have electives or courses in project management that adds up to 35 hours, then you have already satisfied the minimum requirement in terms of education training. Now, there's a difference between having project management training and actually preparing for the exam. And more than ever, there's a huge difference between what the exam content outlined as a syllabus for the PMP requires you to know to do the exam successfully, to pass it on the first try, and what the regular project management training usually has. And so an exam prep training is very important. And that's why the two courses that the Sagicor Cave Hill School of Business and Management provides is far superior. It is cutting edge. I mean, the curriculum was updated just a few months ago, right? Based on the latest information. Not many universities have gone through that rigorous transformation. So you're at the right place to do your best and achieve your best. I'll just take a few questions that I saw more than half an hour ago. So one question says, is ClickUp a suitable project management tool? Yes, it is. ClickUp is excellent, not just a project management tool. It does a number of other workflow related automations that are great for you to use. Okay, any questions that I missed?
I think we've covered the ones that are in the question and answer and also the
Yes.
chat. Mr. Anderson still hasn't been able to ask his question live. However, I'm hoping he would, if he's not able to, he can always email it to myself, Pamela.Eversley or Gioni.James@kfil.uwi.edu.
Okay, wonderful. I see a question from Natasha. Are webinar and seminar planning considered projects? Yes. And they are.
Anderson's question, he has typed it.
Okay.
After passing the CAPM exam, why does the student have to wait 5 years before pursuing the PMP exam?
Oh, no. It's not that they have to wait 5 years. No, your credential, CAPM credential, lasts for 5 years. Okay. Once you are able to show evidence of 3 years worth of leading projects, contributing significantly in coordinating projects, you are ready to now take the next step towards the PMP, preparing for the PMP. Okay, have we covered any of, do we have any other questions that were left unanswered? We want to make sure that we have everybody covered.
Marsha has a question. Let me allow her to speak.
Thank you.
Yes, Marsha.
So if you are a UE staff or a UE student, and would a UE staff get a discount? If you're like an adjunct lecturer or a full-time lecturer, would you get a discount? And if you're already a student at the university, whether it be Kville or St. Augustine or Mona, would there be a discount? Or, it just be a part of normal enrollment, or do we pay separately for the course?
You would pay, it would be regular enrollment. Whether you are a UE student or a lecturer for this particular course. For our advanced project management course, our MSc project management students have a special price for that course, which is later in the year 2023. For this course, it would be, we could take advantage of the early bird special of $575, which is until December, another couple of weeks in December.
Okay. All right, thanks for that question. I see a question. Jael asked, do you have to complete the CAPM before the PMP? No, you don't have to complete the CAPM before the PMP. The persons who would choose to do the CAPM before the PMP are those who may not have the work experience behind their name as yet. However, they want to be able to establish themselves within the project management field as they grow as a project manager. So you don't have to do the CAPM in order to do the PMP.
One other question, Eliud.
Yes.
Are there any particular requirements for the types of projects managed to cater within the 3-year work experience? They're asking about costs, the length, etc.
Okay, good question. Right. So in the application form, they do ask you about, how long the project is. And I think that's the most important part of it, because you're trying to add up to 36 hours, right? The cost, whether it's a $1 million project or not, it's not something that PMI considers, right? As say you get more points if it's a bigger project versus a smaller project, but they do ask you for information purposes. The main thing that they're requiring you to do is to make sure that all the projects that you state you are actually a part of, because they have they have a review process, and then if there's anything flagged from the review process, you can be flagged for auditing, which is more rigorous. You have to get sign-offs from people who are a part of your past project or project documentation to evidence that this project existed and you contributed to it, and so forth. So they do collect that information in terms of cost and how long the project was, which will be very helpful for auditing purposes. But it won't be to your disadvantage if you submit a lot of shorter projects versus 2 very long projects. Natasha says, does planning and organizing okay, no, I think I read that one. Malcolm says, will this course benefit a student pursuing a master's in digital project management? Yes, it will. If you're pursuing a master's in digital project management, you will receive a master's in digital project management. Pursuing the contemporary project management course and or the advanced project management course, you will be prepared to take the requisites or commensurate certification that will give you a different kind of achievement, which is an international professional credential. Okay, so to that extent, it would be beneficial and would deliver something that the master's itself would not give you. Let me just add to that a question, because we tend to get this question in these webinars. There's a follow-up question in relation to, okay, should you pursue a master's in project management or should you do a PMP, right? My quick answer is, if you can do both, that's great, right? Attaining a master's is an academic pursuit, right? Which of course has a lot of professional value as well. Pursuing a master's is an excellent way to contribute to the body of knowledge of project management, both in terms of research and other kinds of academic initiatives. And if that is your preferred vehicle of contributing to the profession, there's no better way to do it than to do it through a master's, especially if you're considering teaching the area or pursuing a PhD in project management thereafter. If it's for purely professional purposes, where you have been working in the area of projects, or you are shifting your career to work more in projects, and your appetite is not to pursue a master's, be it that you already have a master's, or you're not interested in actually, budgeting for tuition for masters, doing the advanced project management course or the contemporary project management course would be far cheaper and far more targeted for your need to receive a professional boost in terms of being globally recognized in project management by fulfilling the minimum requirements for each one or both credentials. Okay, have we satisfied all questions? Are there any follow-up questions before we close? Okay, in closing, I want to thank you for joining in on this webinar. We invite you, as we have posted in the chat, to complete the exit survey below, where we'll be able to follow up with you and to be able to provide additional information in terms of costing, invoicing, and to prepare you to take you through the enrollment process for a successful start for February's class. Thank you so much. I am LG, your facilitator for your course. You can contact me as well if you have any additional questions that may be out of the scope of this specific webinar, but related to project management, your current project management. I'm very approachable and accessible to ensure your future success as you seek to be a future-proof project manager. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so very much, LG, for that. As always, very professional, very in-depth, very clear information session about our upcoming contemporary project management course and project management certification on a whole. I also wish to say a very special thank you for our CEO, Dr. Dion Greenidge, who is with us this afternoon. I also wish to thank our colleagues who would have assisted with the administration of the webinar, and to all of you, our guests, thank you so very much for being here. We will be in touch. I will be sending out the recording to all of you. If there are any questions, you can always follow up. Gioni would have sent in the chat or feedback form. Please complete it. Give us your thoughts, your reviews on what we've done today. And we look forward to welcoming you all to our upcoming Contemporary Project Management course 2023. If there are no further questions, thank you so very much for joining us today, and do have a wonderful evening and all the very best for the holiday season. Do stay safe. Thank you and good evening.